Like a lot of people see marriage or just relationships, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, let's just see what happens. Yeah. It doesn't work, divorce. No.
Yeah, but doing this work, and that's why I really wanted to go into the details of what does make a great husband, what does make a great wife or partner. Because I do think sometimes we do go in with like, oh, this is just an Airbnb and my contract is only for, it can be up. I can just like dismiss the contract if I want to. And so doing this work, I think will really help a lot of people identify whether the person that they're choosing to spend their time with is going to have propensity to be a great person in the future.
We give Jesus praise.
Welcome to my channel, and as you watch, may you be blessed.
And if you don't do the work now and you walk into a relationship and you say, well, we'll wait and see, there's no surprise that the 2 year and 9 month mark becomes like the standard. Like it doesn't even get to 3 years because you've realized the work that maybe you'd hopefully done before is now showing itself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we've gone over a man needs to be a leader and a man needs to be loyal. Okay, what's the third one?
He needs to be a provider. Culturally, right, people have different things that they lean towards too. I'll give an example. There are families, maybe they have kids and he chooses to be a stay-home dad, right? And they understand that it doesn't hurt the family financially. They've worked it out. All of that is beautiful. There are situations where, and it all depends. Maybe the man has sacrificed so much for the home and for the family that he's in a place where he's like, I really just want to pursue my dream. You know, I really just want to pursue this one thing. And in the beginning, maybe no income is coming, right? But he has to be a provider in the sense of it shows stability in the home. I mean, a lot of women are earning higher than their husbands, right? So it's not about the man having to be, you know, like the breadwinner or the highest earner, but to some degree, he needs to provide in the home because it also shows care. It shows leadership. And to whatever degree that whatever you can bring in, you should not be idle. You should not be behind a game all day. You know, we're in LA, right? And there's a lot of creatives in LA. And sometimes when it feels like nothing is happening, they're just like, okay, I'm just going to play games and visit my friends. No, you can be a creative and still earn. You can have dreams and still earn for your family. And I think that sometimes one of the biggest issues in marriages is finances. You know, when there's a financial strain or financial tension, for some women, they're just like, look, let me figure this out on my own rather than us trying to do this as a unit. But I think for men, one of the things I've personally seen as one of the biggest struggles for men is when they feel as though they're not finding jobs or they're not earning in a manner that is suitable to their experience or their resume or their abilities. They rather just wait and do nothing until they keep and do nothing. What I mean by that is keep searching for that thing, even though it may take years. And this is how the woman approaches the situation has to come with a lot of sensitivity and care, recognizing that the man is not just being idle because he doesn't have any ambition with his life, but men really struggle with their ego. Right. And it's like, how can I have all this experience and the job market is just not working for me? And so to do something that is beneath their resume feels like a failure as a man. But it's for them to be reminded, for you to be a provider in the home is success as a husband at whatever capacity, and still showing that, hey, I believe in you. I believe in your dreams. I believe in your goals. I'm going to support you with it. And we're going to figure this out. But at some capacity, the man should provide in the home because bills are real. You know, you pay in cash, not in love or affection.
Damn it.
Right? Yeah. And so he has to show that, even when connected to his leadership, he can bring, he's bringing in finances to the home.
Yeah, I've heard you call it the lie of the enemy, that men believe that if they took a job that was, let's say, beneath their education or their resume, that it actually diminishes them as a man.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very important for women to know. Like, I try to never judge anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. That is like one of my top goals because I used to be misjudgment. Like growing up, like I felt judged all the time.
Yeah.
And as a defense mechanism, I judged other people to protect myself. But I've just always, like as an adult, don't judge people's decisions.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important as we're talking about this, that as women, to understand what's happening to a guy when he loses his job, especially if being a provider is one of their core values. Because let's face it, as a woman, I know a lot of women that desperately want children and they can't conceive. And so what that does to a woman, you wouldn't want a guy to make her feel bad about not being able to conceive or having difficult conceiving. And so I think we do need to give guys the same grace in that. But even in discussing it, like whether you're the stay-at-home father or not, having that discussion, whereas I think a lot of relationships kind of wait and see. And it's like, okay, he loses his job, then the woman tries to take on the weight, but they're not actually discussing the real thing. And so now she's just trying to take it on. She's trying to people please. She's trying to be there for her husband, but now she's breaking.
She's stressed because she's falling apart. And and at the same time, the man would not be so quick to show that it's the weight, how it's affecting him, because then sometimes they think that weakness shows instability in the home. And so I think and this is so valuable, I believe, for women, because even though you may have married a man who is like a solid provider, what happens when he loses his job while married? And working that sensitive place to not just walk away because it seems like he's just lazy, and to understand the heart behind it. You know, the one thing that I'm very passionate about is understanding people, not just what they do, where it's coming from, why do we do what we do? You know, so when you see someone who by nature is, takes pride in going to work, or takes pride in there's certain things that he knows that the moment I think of it, I can book it, I can get it done. And it goes from that to just being idle and being lazy and just being depressed and moaning around. You have to go beyond like how it's impacting you, because that could be stressful, but also where is he at emotionally and what is he hiding? And could it be that maybe I'm not a safe space for him to open up to, because he could see it on my face that I'm irritated by the situation. And so how does he fully open up?
Yeah, because you're not hiding it when you get irritated.
When a woman is irritated, she doesn't hide it. Everything is done with attitude. How she closes the fridge, you would know. How she opens the wall, everything is done with a little bit of attitude.
It's so funny you say that. The other day I slammed the door and my husband was like, was everything okay? I was like, I so didn't mean to, it was the wind. But he just totally perceived it of okay, that means it's energy.
Something is going on. What's going on?
Yeah, the earth shifted beneath his feet when the door slammed. Okay, talk to me about then the power of the guy being the protector.
The protector. That is so key, because, I have seen, and it's unfortunate, right? But I have seen where there is this commentary where, if a man abuses a woman in any way, maybe hits her or whatever, even down to whether it's physical, whether it's sexual, whether it's emotional, there is sometimes this idea of well, what did she do? Let's figure out, what did she do? How did she, did she rile him up? Did she do X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, okay, I look at it, I love analogies, right? I have a daughter, right? I love my daughter. She's going to get older. She's going to be a teen. And one day she's maybe talking back at me and she's giving me sass and, and God forbid, I never hit my mom or anything like that, but God forbid that she just hits me. I would never touch her. And because no matter how she's acting, there is a love for her that is so deep embedded in me that I will still respond from love. For me to hit her or put her in a place what are you doing? Then where I'm coming from, that's not coming from love. That's coming from bitterness. It's coming from hate. It's coming from something else outside of love. And so when a man, being a protector, when men sometimes may try to make it about well, she riled me up and she did this and she did that. No, if you loved her, if you truly love her, your response will show it. Walk away. Get out of the vicinity if you feel so if what's in your head is to be aggressive, then what is in your heart should lead. So what is in your heart? Is this someone you love? But then it goes a little deeper, because how do you also feel about yourself? If you love yourself, there are certain things that you already set as boundaries for your own life. Because if I love myself, there's some things I will not do because I know the consequences of that. And I care about how I show up in society. I care about how I show up in my family. I care about what is true to me, that I would not even give in to that, even if you tempt me with it. But if a man really struggles with self-love, it's going to show up in his marriage. It's going to show up in how he responds to her. It's going to show up in how he treats her, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, whether it's mental abuse. It's going to show up because you cannot give what you don't have.
In thinking through that, how men want to be respected, you said that earlier, is like a love language thing. I think women want to feel safe.
Exactly. Women's love language is safety. Yeah. Women's love language is stability. And sometimes men think it's finance. No, women are making their own money. It's not. I think finances is like, it's there, but it's not at the very top. At the very top, emotionally, I should feel safe here. I should feel like my voice can be heard. I should feel like, we can talk through things without it being this blowout. I shouldn't feel like I need to walk, like I'm walking on eggshells around you. There's a safety that a woman craves. And so for the men, you cannot bring that safety if you are functioning from trauma, if you are functioning from, a lack of emotional maturity. And this is not about perfection, right? But it's to say when you know what's broken, you both can work on that together for the healing. You can talk through it. It's not a hidden place in his life, because what destroys many relationships is secrets. Secret becomes the puppet master to the relationship. It is the thing that controls him without outside of his will, because there is a secret he's hiding from you that he's functioning from.